Hello everyone, it's Dawn and welcome back. Hope you've all had a good weekend and ready for another week ahead. Now, today we're going to be starting our first project for PAPERCRAFT Society Box 35. But before we do a proper project, so to speak, if you were with me and able to join me for my unboxing, I showed you these delightful little charms and I said that they would make some great earrings. Well, that's what I've done. I had a pair of earrings which have hooks on them and I really didn't like them very much, so I took the embellishments off and kept the jump ring, and I've just put the jump ring on these little embellishments, these little charms, and I've made a pair of leaf earrings. But that's not the real project. I thought I'd just show you what I've done because that doesn't require a demonstration. Today we are going to do a demonstration based on this project which is in the book. But this is a square card, but we're going to make it into roughly a 6x4 card, or 4x6, whichever way around you like to say it. And we're still going to have it, it's going to look similar, but it'll be a different shape. It'll be a rectangular card rather than a square. And anyway, you'll see how it's different as we go along. So let's get on with it. So, or make a start, shall we say. So this is one of the green pieces of card that came in our pack. And all I've done is literally folded it in half and creased it with the textured side facing up. Now, because this is quite dark, we're going to need an insert. So I've just taken a scrap of, this is actually cartridge paper from my own stock. And what we're going to do, we're going to grab a bit of, or one of our glue sticks, because this isn't very thick card, so we don't need anything very strong. We will need a glue gun later, in a little while. So I've got my glue gun heating up. It should be nice and hot by now because it's been on for a little while. So we're going to pop that down there. We'll probably want it again in a minute, so we won't put it too far away. And I'm going to put that in the middle. Now, I haven't measured that. I've just really given it a bit of a border, and how big a border you give this inner part is entirely up to you. You can do a big border or you can make a narrower border. It depends what you want to do on here. So I'm going to leave that up to you. But on the front, I've used one of the papers and cut it down to size. And all I've done is I've laid it on, I laid the full sheet on my folded card, and I just took it in a tiny little bit, so we've only got a tiny border. But again, you can make this border as big or as small as you like. And of course, you don't have to have this. If you wanted this on a bigger card, you could take some white card or a 5x7 and make it that way. But I've done this just to keep it simple. So again, I'm going to take my glue stick, and the good thing about using glue, whether it's a glue stick or whether you use something like a tacky glue, is you can slide it into place. So if you haven't quite got it where you want it first time, you can have another go at it. But of course, if you do it with tape and you put it down and it's not right, you're sort of stuck with it. So I would always recommend using, unless you're absolutely sure of where it's going. Now, which way shall I put it? That way or that way? Let's put it that way. So, no, I think I'm going to put it that way. I can't remember how it was originally, but we're going to put it that way. So we're just going to slide that into place until we've got a reasonably even border. So there we go. It's looking pretty already. You could, if you wanted to, just put a sentiment across there and have it done with. But I have used some of the twine in this pack. And what I did, I used two different circle dies, one slightly bigger than the other, put one inside the other, cut it out, and you're left with a wreath or a ring. And all I did was I used the twine and wound it round and round until the card didn't show anymore. But because this is twine and because it's quite thick and textured, we are going to need our hot glue gun for this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put some spots of glue all the way round. Of course, mind your fingers when you do this. So we're going to put them all the way around there, turn it over, and I'm going to put mine in the middle of my card like that. And of course, glue gun or hot glue sticks almost instantly, and it's very strong, so even this won't come off. And you will need your hot glue to put the flowers on. Well, they're not flowers actually, they're leaves. Now, I'll show you what I've done for the leaves. I'll bring them in. I used a variety of the leaf dies, and what I did, I took another piece of my cartridge paper And I just use my watercolour pencils. I use some autumnal tones. I think I use something like a burnt sienna, a yellow ochre, and a couple of other bits, just some autumny tones. And I scribbled them over in patches, or shaded them, I didn't really scribble them. And then added the water and let it dry. And then I die cut them once the paint was dry. So I really wanted something that was multi-toned, for want of a better word. So that's why I've done it like this. But you can use the ordinary papers if you wanted to. You could layer them up. Now with these ones, these are the skeleton dies. And as you can see, I've left the little bits in. I haven't poked them out. I've left them in to give you that bit of a texture. So, and again, because we're going to be putting them on here, we will need a glue gun. So I'm going to do 4 along the bottom and probably 3 along the top. And then we're going to decorate the corners, and then we're going to add a sentiment. But we'll get to all that in a minute. So let's do the 4 around the bottom. No, actually, let's do the 3 on the top first. So let's choose the ones we want. Oh, I think we'll have something a bit different. That one, and we'll have that one, I think. So if we put that one there, it's probably a good idea to use something to push it down with. So I'll get one of my what I call my tatty tools. I use this for glue and other bits that are likely to be messy. Maybe I should call it a messy tool. So we're going to just put that one there, and then I'm going to put 2 more on, one either side, that one there, and that one there, I think. So I haven't pre-planned this, I'm just sort of making it up as I go along. Well, I sort of pre-planned it, but you know what it's like when you start. You have an idea, then by the time you go to make it up, you change your mind. Well, I do anyway. So I'm going to put those 3 there, and these 4 I'm going to put down the bottom. So these ones I think we'll put on the outside, and the other 2 I think we'll put in the middle. So I'm just going to risk doing it like that. So we'll put that one there. So once you start doing this, it really doesn't take long to put together. And it does look really nice. And I do like this rather rustic look with the twine around it. It looks really nice. Ow. So I really should have put something. I should have used my tool to put it down. I will next time. I will with that one. There. So there is our wreath all done. Or the wreath part anyway. Now I've got some left, a couple left. And I'm going to deal with those now before I manage to lose them. And what I'm going to do, as we've got some decorative bits in the corners from the pattern on the paper, I'm going to do the same here. I'm going to just use some of the leaves that I've got left over. Again, they're just ones that I've die cut. Actually, I think we'll put that one there. And we'll put that one down there. And again, I really ought to use my ball tool to put that on because it is quite warm. It is quite hot now. And I'm going to do the same with the other 2 that I've got up here. So we're going to put those in the opposite top corner. So I think we'll put this one down there like that. Just pop it down. And one more, we've got one more die cut leaf, which I'm going to pop up there like that. So we'll just pop that down like that. So that will dry very nicely. So I'm just going to leave that there to dry. Now, I've got one more thing to put on. I used my banner die and I used one of the sentiment stamps. It says sent with love. But as you can see, we've got a bit of a problem because it's too big, it's too long or too wide. So what we're going to do, if we've got 2 ways of doing this, we could either just cut it off there and there, but if we want that shape, what we can do, we can grab a pencil, keep it where we want it, and just put a tiny pencil mark. Now this won't show, well, not too much anyway. We can always cut it out if it does. So from that pencil mark, what we can do, we can follow that line. We can follow that shape with our scissors. And we can just recreate the shape, but cut it a bit smaller. So that's what we're going to do. I don't know if you saw that, but just in case you didn't, I'll do it again the other side. So we're just going to create the same shape, but we're just going to cut it a bit smaller. Just chop the end off. And then we'll, upside down, that's a good start, isn't it? So that's about right, actually, I think. Yep, I think that's fine. It could be a tiny weeny bit smaller, but I think we can live with that. So what we need to do now is, again, we will need our hot glue. So I'm going to put a little bit there and a little blob there. And I'm going to put that. This is the orange paper that came in the pack. And I've used the smoother side this time because I've stamped on it. I've used the smoother side. Now we're going to take those bits away, take all the debris away. And there is our first project and our first card. So there is our, well, shall we call it an autumn wreath card? Yes, let's call it that. So that's our autumn wreath card. And of course, I'll just bring in the others. I'll bring in the earrings. And with a couple of the charms, those beautiful little leaf charms, I showed you how I made a pair of earrings. So of course, if you wanted to, you could just put these on a hook and use them as embellishments or thread them through your twine and make embellishments for your cards and your other projects. So I hope you've enjoyed this one. And if you haven't got the Papercraft Society box, if it hasn't arrived yet, or if you're not a member, I'm sure you've got other things in your own stash that you can use to create something similar. And we've all got pens. If you haven't got pencils, I'm sure we've got paints or alcohol pens that we can create these autumnal leaves and have a great time with them. So I hope you've enjoyed this and that you have a go yourself, whether it's with our Papercraft Society box or anything that we just happen to have in our stash. And I'll be back very shortly with another project from Papercraft Society box 35. And in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Take care, everybody. Have fun. And as always, happy crafting. Bye-bye for now.